What's up everyone, G2 Vex30 here, coming at you with the promised 1.6 Furia Pro Talk. I promised this would be done Sunday, but I got a little bit backed up the past few days, but nonetheless, here it is. I'll be talking about my opinions on the Furia 1.6 changes and how they affect her in the meta right now. Also, I plan to have a 1.6 support tier list out soon so everyone can hear what I think about the changes in the meta. Thank you to everyone who watched my first Pro Talk on ranked versus casual. It was one of my fastest growing videos to date, and I hope to keep this trend up this week on all my videos. But if you're not subscribed and you do enjoy this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell as it'll help this channel greatly. That's all from me for now. Let's move right into this talk on the Furia 1.6 changes. So getting into this Pro Talk on Furia, let's talk about what they did to change her in 1.6, and then we're gonna move into how that affected her and what they should have done. So the first change they made, Pyre Blade, reduced damage done at extended ranges. Basically what that means is her fall off is greater. The farther somebody is when she shoots, the less damage it'll do. So she still has close range lethality, but at long ranges, it was a very good nerf to her, and I'm very happy that they did this. The second one, Kindle Soul. Her main healing cooldown, her right click, increased cooldown from 4 to 5 seconds. Now this one is the questionable one, and we'll go into that later, but they increased the cooldown in her right click, and yeah, let's talk about those two in particular first. The fall off was good. She needed this change very badly. She was doing too much poke damage at range, and it was making her just a unstoppable force. She was able to get Chronos too, with her cooldowns as is, and then go into Caught or something. Most Furias should have been going max heal CDR in her build, and then going Chronos too so they can get Caught to Caught at long range. She does a lot of damage at ranges, and really that's what helped her be meta. But there are some certain things that came into meta, that being Beam, that I think should have been touched this patch but wasn't. But the second one, the right click nerf, it wasn't very good. It was unnecessary. The right click hasn't been her issue. Her issue, at least competitively, has been her beam heal, and in most casual and ranked games when people are coordinated, it'll be Beam. Beam will just win. Beam wins and loses games if used effectively. The right click nerf was unnecessary, but I can see what they are going for. The competitive versus casual Furia, the issue with balancing her. Basically, competitive Furia, the reason she's good is because her beam heal. Her tanks are allowed to take as much damage as they need, leave a little bit, get the beam, catch the beam, and full heal from it instantly, and then get right back in the fight. So the tanks basically have 2 lives at all times when beam is up. Casual Furia, the reason casual Furias are good is because the amount of damage they output, plus the healing they can do. She is all around really, really solid in casual. She has different issues than she does in competitive when it comes to balancing. That's why Furia is a very difficult champion to balance. What they needed to do this patch is take Furia. They needed to nerf her fall off, keep that, but then they needed to nerf the amount of healing Beam does, or increase the cooldown on Beam. The right click did not need a cooldown increase. They already nerfed it twice. They nerfed her cooldown, I believe, the patch before this, 1.4 or 1.3. I'm not sure which one these came in, but these happened previously. They nerfed her heal range, which went from 120 to 100, and then they nerfed her shielding card from 100 per level to 50 per level, so max 250 now instead of 500. Those were 2 really huge nerfs to her, and it hurt her in the meta, but it kept her, she was still in when people were using Cherish. But as soon as Beam came into meta, these nerfs really helped Beam, accelerated Beam to meta. And now that you're nerfing the right click cooldown again, you're just letting Beam take over the game. This legendary is not healthy. Even though it's tons of healing, it is not fun to play against. It is not a fun mechanic. It is a hard mechanic, but competitively, it's OP. Casually, it might not be that good. Like I said earlier, that's the issue with balancing. When you're trying to balance a champion like Furia, she has 2 different spectrums, competitive and casual, reasons why she's good. This patch, what they should have done is taken those together and said, hey, casual, doing too much damage at range, okay, we can nerf the fall off. I think that was a good change. Start there. Competitive, why is Furia good? Beam, okay. So this is my idea what they could have changed on Furia. This is just my theory. This is a decent one. It's a nerf, but it's also a buff. What you do to Beam is cut the healing in half, but you let Furia heal off of it. Now what that does is allow Furia to play closer to her tanks, so the beam is more effective at close range. And in casuals, you can play with your team, beam a tank, stand in the beam, get healed, fight with them, and fight more with your team rather than trying to throw the beam and letting them catch it. And the second part of that is they can also add the mechanic of Furia being able to catch her own beam. Throw it behind a tank, catch it, and have them come to you. It lets you catch it to help yourself. There are multiple different things they could have done this patch to nerf that beam, but still make it competitively viable, but nothing was changed to it. So competitively, Furia is still going to be insane. Furia is just a difficult champ to balance though. She has she's on, like I said earlier, she's on two different spectrums. Her competitive nature with Solar Blessing, communication, all makes that legendary super viable. B, casual. Her right click healing is still a lot. They increased the cooldown on it, so it nerfed her in casual, and they increased fall off, which nerfed her in casual. So casually, Furia is now not as good because of people who want to run Cherish. And if they try to run Solar Blessing without teammates that they know, or people they know will catch it, it's going to become near impossible. So really, I wish Hi-Rez would take a step back and take a look at casual and competitive before they have balance changes. Now, I realize competitive won't be on their forefront. It won't be immediately on their mind, but if it could be taken into consideration a little bit more, that'd be great, because I believe Hi-Rez use a lot of internal data for nerfs. And if they don't see Solar Blessing being picked a lot, they're not going to nerf it. That's what I don't like. That should be a thing, right? You should look at your internal data. You should say, hey, this is being picked a lot, and this isn't being picked at all. Let's find a way to balance these two out. That is great. But you also have to look at what's insane in competitive level, because it is not going to help the esports scene in Paladins if you're just watching something OP or getting banned every single game, or something not being played because it's banned every game. It's not going to help the esports scene, and it just needs it to be taken into consideration. I hope in 1.7 there's something done to Furia's beam. Like I said, what they really need to do, this has been my suggestion for a while now, is cut the beam healing in half and let Fury heal off of it. That just changes play styles and makes it viable for casual. But that's what I think about the 1.6 changes to Furia. She's still meta. Casually, she might have got a pretty big nerf, but competitive, she is still meta. There's really no reason for her not to be meta. That's, like I said, two different spectrums. She's not as good in casual, but completely fine in competitive still. Sucks. I just really wish that beam got nerfed, to be honest. I just think they nerfed the wrong thing on her. They nerfed one good thing and then one bad thing, but it happens. Some changes are made. We got to deal with it. But that's my opinion on the 1.6 Furia changes. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I took the feedback from last video about getting my thoughts in order, about making a little bit of a script. One response to that is I don't have like any time to make scripts, to be honest, so all this is just off the top of my head. I've already thought about these things, and I have a list of things to talk about basically on the side of my monitor to keep me on track. So I'm trying to improve on that. So people who had constructive criticism, I really do appreciate that. I love when I get constructive criticism, and it does help me a lot as a YouTuber, so thank you for that. And everybody who liked the first Pro Talk and enjoyed this one, I am so happy. This video series basically is something I have wanted to do since day one on YouTube, and I've wanted to try to figure out a way to do it properly, and a way to have it done where I can enjoy it and I know viewers would enjoy it. I wanted to have topics to talk about, so constantly in my Discord I'm having people giving me suggestions. I should talk about this, that, so that is just amazing. If you're not in my Discord, you guys should check down in the description and join all my social medias to keep up with me. But that is all for me. I hope everyone has a good day, night, evening, morning, dawn, dusk, or whatever it is where you live. And I'll see you in the next one. Later.